Hey guys, how you doing? This is Kaylana here, and so I wanted to talk with you guys about your job and what you could be going through on your job that could possibly be pushing you out into your destiny. And so I'm sure a lot of us have experienced this or actually going through this at this moment. And of course, I've been through this situation before, and sometimes God will allow things to happen or for you to go through. Not that He's necessarily testing you, but you might be having to go through some things in order for you to move on to do something else. Okay. And so before I get into that, I just want to apologize real quick because I came home not too long ago from work and I had to change my clothes and stuff. So I'm kind of just dressed down a little bit. But anyway, I just wanted to share this with you guys real quickly because I know sometimes when we encounter situations on our job, there could be many different ways to look at why we're going through what we're going through, especially dealing with coworkers that it's hard for us to get along with, or maybe a boss or supervisor or the CEO of the company that could be quite harsh or misunderstanding or harassing, whatever the case may be. And so you'll have to know what your season is. And sometimes it can be very difficult to even know when it's time to move on, especially when you've worked for a company for a period of time, or maybe you're at a place where you actually need your job and you're kind of like paycheck to paycheck. And so you're really not quite sure what to do. And things are happening all around you. And you're like, what am I supposed to do? And so before I even get into that real quickly, I just want to share with you guys that a lot of my advice or my information, of course, I come from a Christian or a biblical perspective from a lot of things. And so I just want to go ahead and put that out there in case you guys are wondering why. But anyway, but let me tell you guys, sometimes it can be very difficult or even very discouraging, especially when you are working someplace and you have been going through things dealing with people on your job, and it could be a wide range of things. Now I'm not talking about you going through with your coworkers because maybe it could be you that's having the issue with other people, or maybe they have an issue with you, you know what I mean, meaning like you're the problem. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about, you've done right, you make sure you speak to everybody, you're not petty, you're not trying to get anybody in trouble, you're not doing anything against the company's rules. You know what I'm talking about. And so and I know some people are like, well, how do I know if I'm supposed to be doing something else? And you'll know. And sometimes you have to discern on your own or even pray about it to say, hey, you know what? Is it time for me to move on from this company? Is my season up? And sometimes things come into your life to see how you are going to respond, to see how you're going to move. And sometimes it is time for you to move on, especially if you're feeling really, really, really uncomfortable. Now, sometimes I look at a job just like a relationship with someone that you love, because sometimes things can get kind of rocky and you really can't throw in the towel just because things get rocky or uncomfortable. That's just within you, or most relationships, within means. For instance, they're not being abusive to you, having extramarital affairs, this, you know what I mean. And so basically, there's things that you'll recognize when God is actually shifting you out of a place where you work. Okay. And now this may not necessarily be, this is just from what I have encountered. This is from also from what I've seen other people go through. So you don't necessarily have to take this at face value, because it's just my disclaimer. But there's ways that you can know. First of all, one thing I do is I pray about it. I ask God, okay, God, when is my season up? And sometimes I'll pray, say, Lord, how long is my season here? I may not always get an answer right away. I may just go through, and then once I see this up, then of course I will move on. And so that's something you always do. At least for me, I'll pray about it. God, okay, please show me my season. And when my season is up, Lord, just please let me know, or give me some of the signs. Okay. And so for me, that works all the time. Those are like the main key ingredients to knowing when it's time to shift. And also, for some of you guys that are watching this, you are called to be an entrepreneur. Like, you are called to have your own business. You're called to either work from home or to start your own gig, like whatever it is. And so things may happen because you're not really in position, meaning like you're not working on your business plan, you're not working on your website, you're not hiring a consultant, you're not actually putting in the work to be able to be that entrepreneur that you're supposed to be doing, And so sometimes either you've gotten a prophetic word spoken over your life before, or you've had a dream, or there's something on the inside of you that will not rest until you actually complete what you're supposed to be doing in regards to having your own business, and sometimes it could just be that place of employment where you work at is just because you're not supposed to be there, meaning that it's not really a place for you. And just because a door open doesn't necessarily mean that it's from God. It just means that that's where you are. And sometimes your season just may be up where you are. And how you'll know is when you start to see things kind of act chaotic. Like for instance, you're always having the same issue. You're not getting any results. You're not seeing any changes. You're having issues, especially with your supervisor or the boss. They won't take up for you, or they're the ones that's causing you problems. There's issues with your paycheck. Every time you turn around, you're getting short money, favoritism on the job, nepotism on the job, and basically you're not happy anymore. Basically, like if you were a person that's always full of joy or just even at peace, and you dread to go to work, well, that's like most people, but you just know every time you get there, that joy, it just feels like it's drained from you. That's another reason how you'll know is when it's time for you to shift. That's sometimes that's a wake up call, is when you just don't want to be there anymore, or you find yourself calling in or calling out sick from work. Those are some, I'm not saying do that, but those are some of the things that you'll know when you're just not happy, when it's time for you to shift. Also, that there's one of the other reasons how you'll know is when it's time for you to shift is when you'll start to see the company downsize. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen to you, that you're next in line, but you'll start to see like a lot of changes within the company. The company morale starts to change, and how they treat their employees and their staff. Things aren't going right. Things are starting to shift. You start to see like how, people that were once in a particular department, now they're not there anymore, and things just start to basically dwindle. They're starting to cut hours, things like that. That's another reason why. And sometimes you might find yourself fighting for something when it's really time to let go. There's situations where people try to stay on the job longer than what they should because they're trying to prove a point, like, hey, I can do it, or or maybe I'm next in line for a promotion, or maybe even that's another reason where you've been there for so long and you never gotten a promotion, you haven't gotten a raise, and you deserve it. It might be time for you to shift, okay? And so and sometimes you might be going through, but it's meant for you to stay there because there might be a person that you have to reach, or maybe your blessing is right around the corner. But I'm talking about for those who are ready to shift, those that when your season is up. And sometimes my suggestion would be the best thing to do is, of course, putting in 2 weeks. But I can't really specifically say in your situation. Some people just up and quit, but it's wise to just go ahead, at least give some kind of a notice, unless you got this remarkable job offer that is requiring for you to start within a week or a couple of days or something, and you can't put in 2 weeks right away, but you at least put in some kind of notice. Okay, that's an understanding. And also, when certain opportunities present themselves, and it's going to either make you more money or at least you'll be at peace, then of course that's another reason why. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know some people are like, man, should I leave this job? Should I quit? Should I move on? Like, what should I do? But always make sure that you have a plan. Unless the Lord specifically says, you know what, just quit your job and just wait on me. And I'm sure that God's not going to give you a specific task without something already waiting for you, unless he says quit and he wants you to wait to see what's going to happen. But more than likely, there's always going to be a way of escape and also a plan B or plan C waiting for you on the other side. So with that being said, don't let these people on your job drain you. Don't let them look down on you. Especially don't go into a place where you feel defeated all the time, where you're always depressed, or you're sad, or you're angry, or you're nervous, or you're scared, or you feel like you're being harassed. Like, that's not peace. And you definitely want to be in a place where at least you're at peace. You might not always want to be there, or you may not necessarily want to do what you're doing, but you at least have a peace about what you're doing. And so if you don't have a peace about it no more, and if it brings you drama or grief or whatever that's causing interruption in your life, then it might be time for you to shift. So with that being said, I just want to share with you guys. I know I haven't been on here in a while, but I just had to share that with you. So anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all. It is December 2018, so I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.